So this is a pixel art survival horror RPG. It is made by a man called Francis Clume. I apologize if I'm getting the name wrong there. Where the greatest horror is poor apartment building maintenance. Also the eldritch horrors within and without said collapsing apartment block. You start the game knowing nothing except there is something outside the window and you are not allowed to look at it. I naturally looked at it and it ended the game. So you can't go outside. The calendar says there's 14 days remaining and you've got like a weird creeper neighbor who pokes their eye into the apartment building. They become important later. But it's really, really cool. So you start out by walking around the place, trying to find weapons, equipment. There's a lot of monsters that are around. Yeah, a lot of jump scares. And it's I really, really like I said, I was like raised on RPG Horror Maker stuff. I love the idea of every time you walk into a room, there is a new threat. And the way threat systems work here is that every room has a level of danger to it. And you only earn a save point if you put yourself in enough danger to unlock it. You have to run back to your house and talk to the creepy neighbor with the eyeball. And only when you reach a certain danger threshold, by either putting yourself in combat or being around enemies a lot more powerful than you are allowed to save your game and your progress, which I love. I think that is such a fantastic mechanic, and it encourages not only exploration, but getting outside your comfort zone. Using weapon degradation is naturally a thing in this, so you've got to be balancing that. There are a lot of bits of equipment and like stuff for you to find and build and craft. There are other people in the apartment that maybe aren't as sane as you are that you can befriend, which I love. And I also love in the first 2 hours that I played, it let me, and I quote, smooch a very sloppy eldritch voyeur and nearly made me piss my pants.
Awesome.
In the first 2 hours, excellent stuff. Delicious. What I don't particularly like about it, and again, I've only played 2 hours, so there isn't a whole lot to say, is that I am not a fan of chase sequences the same way I'm not really a fan of QTEs.
Yeah, right.
Because I don't think they rely on skill more than they rely on my ability to just control my nervous system. And there is one chase sequence very early on that I had to repeat a couple times just because the controls aren't as responsive as I would like them to be for a chase sequence operating in a pixel art frame. So that caught me out a few times. And I find with horror games, the more often you die, the less scary a thing becomes. And that wanes pretty quickly if you're facing the same monster. I also, and this isn't a dislike about the game, it's a dislike to how it makes me feel, there are some entities that when you fight them, they don't fight back.
Oh no.
So you're
I
never
hate that.
quite sure if you're supposed to be fighting this thing or if we're doing an Undertale situation where it's going to be the real evil is me. But I need my loot and I need my stuff. So unfortunately, if you stand in my way, I'm going to shank you. I love it. I'm so excited for this. Apparently, it's about a 10 to 15 hour playtime for the whole game. More if you're a completionist, which I am. So I'm really excited for it. I
That
really love
system is... I can't believe a bigger AAA game hasn't tied itself to an ability to, a risk and reward of play more dangerously, or in this case, be more afraid to unlock the ability to not have to replay this and to save and progress.
so cool.
That's genius.
And you can, because so there's 14 days. I haven't gotten through the 14 days.
Sure.
But the hallways that you operate in, you'll take out enemies and then something you'll see out of the corner of your eye when you open the door next. But you're never quite sure what it is.
It's freaks. There's freaks everywhere.
Yeah, there's freaks everywhere, and they all play into the Eldritch Eyes kind of thing.
Yep.
But you're never quite sure how. There's one enemy, I will spoil this one thing. There is one enemy that's made of teeth, and he talks about being bitten by his daughter and her new baby teeth. And now her baby teeth are a part of him as like the teeth erupt out into like this eldritch monstrosity. I love the design. It's really tapping that part of my brain that just likes those like weird little freak like antics.
but kind of cute. Not cute, but like in a cartoon... take it back.
Wait for it. Look at
I've
those
always loved stylized horror games. I found that
Yes.
they're the ones I lean more towards because like hyper realistic horror, it's a little too close
icky.
for comfort. And so this kind of shit, I'm all about. What you were saying about the things always being at the corner of your eye, I feel like that's such a staple of these pixel horror games. Like Mad Father did it, Corpse Party did it.
Corpse Party, what a legend.
Right? I feel like it's such a good tactic to give you a scare without it looking like something that you could see in real life. You know what I mean?
I think it really plays to it's playing to the limitations of the genre and the limitations of the engine, where you can't really make anything that's overtly, huge in size and scale and makes you feel that terror because it's a pixel art thing. There's only so much we can work with here.
And even just your perspective of being mostly top down. I mean, they can
Exactly.
be intimidating in this perspective, maybe, but
Yeah.
But it's
on
that
the map.
It's that intimidation of a creature that just like doesn't run away or just like looks
The
at you and
speed
hides
with
in a
which they
corner.
because they kind of shamble. I mean, I've only seen a few examples, but like the shambling of the zombies across the hall, and then when they choose to attack, that's like a little jump scary and like, oh right, they accelerate in an interesting way. And
they do this
very
really
cool.
well because there's sometimes where you'll be in the line of sight of an enemy and you're like, oh, they're not running at me until they do.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
wait for you to like
Yeah.
get close enough.
What's
Being unpredictable is another
Yeah.
way of
It's
being
scary.
intimidating without being grotesque.
the enemies are gross
yeah.
and they're kind of scary.
Yes.
Is there, because I know you really enjoy like that sort of like the deep lore in these kind of worlds and these kind of games. Is there, what's the friendly NPCs? Is there mystery, intrigue, or is it just this is so absurd I want out kind of energy?
There is, so I've only played the first 2 hours,
Yep.
and I've met a couple of NPCs. So like the weird voyeur is someone who enjoys
I have a
photography. Dust Ronald in the game enjoys photography, and there's something that they have seen on the outside that instead of making them like the mindless creatures, it has adapted a part of their personality from when they were human. And it's warped it in a way that they can still function, but they'll never be the same as who they were.
That's what I was going to check.
that's
Are there
so
many
cool.
NPCs? And because that's why I would push on through this
Yeah.
messed up stuff to find the more twisted character that's like, hey, here's my messed up backstory, but I'm not an enemy.
Yeah.
Because
That thing that was in the ground, that's a baby.
That's
a newborn.
Oh, there's Tooth
that's
Man.
Teeth Man.
I don't like it at
That's
all.
so cool.
I
Yeah.
don't like that at all.
That's
There is
so,
nothing
so
scary,
cool.
in my opinion, that when a game tells you, you should run.
Yeah.
And I, like, not even like to spook you, it's just like, hey, just so you know, this thing is over leveled and you're weak. You should hike it.
I wanted to ask about the leveling system and the RPG in it, because I've seen you use attacks and you've been doing massive damage and like killing shit real well.
Stepped up.
Is it like you're grinding for experience, leveling up, getting new abilities? Are you finding items that give you new attacks or anything like that? Just in like the combat system.
Yeah, so I am, again, even though the goal is to put yourself in danger, I'm a very fearful player. I love horror games. I'm not good at horror games. I am a little scaredy cat.
Yeah.
So I have been very strategic in my attacks. I go for big weapons, so like there's a gun. And I found the gun. But like any horror game, it has very limited bullets, and they are precious. And you always want to save that for your big, like this freaky little guy over here.
Yeah.
He's actually, I don't think actually he's a threat. I think that one's a chill one. Yeah, I find it, the leveling, I'm not even focused on the leveling up part of it.
Okay.
Because I'm so like enraptured by the world itself and just trying to find that next big ticket item that's going to like trade with the vendors that are around who come to the
Yeah,
door
right.
sometimes.
Okay.
I'm trying to find a weapon because my bloody knife broke and now I'm using a mop handle.
Yeah, cool. So that's where more of the survivally stuff
Yeah.
comes into play. It's just finding gear and using
Yes.
what's around you.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It screams body horror Earthbound to me.
Oh,
that's very.
that's
yeah.
literally it. Massively.
I love it.
massively.
I love
I'm
that.
so keen to
do
play.
you talk to
this.
all the enemies or just some? Because that's a really messed up mechanic to be
Some-
like, I'm going to converse with this thing and be like, what are you? Why are you?
The
Go
more
away.
like the more quote unquote intelligent ones, I just realized that you could recruit Joel. My bad. I killed Joel. That's on me. Yeah, you can talk to some enemies, not all communicate with you.
Sure.
If you let them go, like if you refuse to attack them, some will address you.
Hmm.
But you're never quite sure if they're doing it to lure you in or if they're just waiting for you to like make a mistake.
Mario?
And Yoshi?
Oh,
No, he's playing with little toys.
oh
He's-
no,
Child,
it's a little.
Yeah.
Oh, stop this. Stop this now.
It's
Attack the
real
child.
sad.
Go away.
But
My
yeah,
instinct
there's
is always
a-
to attack the child.
when the
The
child looks like
toothed
that,
child.
yeah, that child's gone. No, I love it so much. I'm probably going to
cool.
play the rest of it tonight.